Alright guys, for today's video, I'm going to show you how to install a stem. Specifically, this JW BMX stem comes in a really high gloss, anodized red, looks pretty sick. I'm going to replace an older stem on my DK RM59 trail / chromoly race bike and add some additional red to match up a little bit with the frame and some of the other parts. You can see this thing was USA hand built in Ohio. It's got some cool engraving on the side, a lot of cutouts to save weight, a lot of support where it needs it to stay strong. This thing should be pretty sick. The first thing I'm going to do is remove the old stem. So I'm loosening the pinch bolts on the left and right side of the stem with a 1/4 inch Allen wrench for this stem, but I'll be using a 6mm to install the JW stem. Once I've loosened the pinch bolts, I'll need to use the proper size Allen wrench to remove the top cap from the fork itself on the top of the stem. It's either going to be a 6mm or a 1/4 inch Allen wrench. Of course, this could depend on the type of fork and top cap that you have, but make sure you use the right size. Once that cap is all the way out, go ahead and slide the stem off and remove the fork and set the fork and front wheel to the side for now. If all of your bolts are completely loosened but you're still having difficulty removing the stem, you may have over tightened it in the past or have a rough surface on the top of your fork that's pinching the back end of the stem too close together. If that's the case, check this link right here at the top of the screen. I've got a tutorial on how to use a penny or any other coin to help you easily remove the stem and avoid struggling with pulling that stem too hard to get it off the fork. Now that the stem is off the bike, go ahead and use the proper size Allen wrench. For me, it's a 1/4 inch on this stem, and turn counterclockwise to loosen up the stem by removing all 4 bolts. Then you can pull off the top cap and get ready to switch over to your new stem. Once I've removed the old stem, I'm replacing it with the new stem. So here's my anodized red JW stem that you can pick up at jwbmx.com. And before I install the bolts to clamp the bars down to the stem itself, make sure that you do what I do here and add some grease to the end of your bolts. This is going to keep the product living for a whole lot longer and make sure that the bolts don't seize up. This doesn't just go for a stem, it goes for any other part. Add grease to all of them, it just takes a minute. I've already pre-greased the 2 pinch bolts on the back end of the stem, so once I've greased these 4 bolts, we're ready for action. Once all 4 bolts are in, I'm going to go ahead and line the bars up kind of close to the way I want them, and then I'm going to slowly tighten them in a X pattern. You'll notice that I'm going from the back of one side of the stem to the front of the other side of the stem and moving in a pattern that will evenly tighten the bolts and keep those top caps relatively straight. As you can see here, the front of the stem has a smaller gap between the top cap and the stem itself, where the back end has a larger gap. That's no good because no matter how tight I get them, there's a possibility of my bar still slipping. In order to fix that, loosen the bolt on the side of the smaller gap just a bit and then tighten the bolt with the larger gap. You can see that it'll distribute the weight a little bit differently and even out those 2 gaps. Once they're even or as close to even as possible, you're ready to reinstall the fork and then slide the stem back down on top of the steer tube and reinstall your top cap using the proper sized Allen wrench. Once the stem is onto the bike, double check the alignment of the handlebars. If you'd like to move them forward or backward a bit, go ahead and slightly loosen the stem bolts, get it adjusted the way you like it, and then make sure again to evenly tighten the front and back of those top caps so that you have an even gap on either side of the bar so that the bars don't slip on you while you're riding. Now that everything's snug, you'll see that again I'm double checking and going in a cross or X pattern from diagonal sides of the stem to ensure that everything is evenly distributed and tightened down nice and snug so that it's not going to slip on me at those crucial moments when you're pulling on the bars and riding the bike. Make sure that you've got the top cap tightened just enough so that the bars will still turn but the headset isn't loose. Then check for alignment between your stem and the front tire to make sure the bars aren't angled to the left or the right, and then tighten those pinch bolts down evenly on the left and right side to make sure that it doesn't slip while you're riding. If you guys enjoyed this video, learned something about either the product from jwbmx.com or how to install a stem, please make sure to leave a comment. And if you're interested in picking this stuff up, there's a link in the description as well as a promo code, Josh Smith. That's gonna get you 10% off on anything jwbmx.com has to offer, whether it be chain tensioners, sprockets, spiders with spline drive and bolt drive, or any other components that they may offer. Check it out, jwbmx.com, Ohio made, USA made, really high quality CNC parts. And make sure to hit the subscribe button so you can tune in next time when I install these other awesome JW parts on my RM59 frame before I head out to the trails.